the ups and downs, missed the swings.
All of it headed in the direction of Garrett Adelstein.
Missed knowing, I'm about to get on a plane tomorrow and I'm going to come home and plenty of the time, like I'm going to be 7 figures, like wealthier or less wealthy.
All right, Legion, we're here. We're live, back on YouTube. Technically not live, but we are joined after a 14-month delay. We've been wondering, when are we going to see this man again? We spent hundreds, I don't remember how many hours, 100 hours watching Garrett play one hand. The last time we seen him, he was not looking happy, but today he's looking happy because he's returning to the live streams this week, playing on Bally's, which will be on Wednesday. I'll be in the commentating booth, and today we're going to ask Garrett some questions. We're going to find out where he's been, what he's been up to. Garrett, welcome back. It's always great to see you. It's been a long time. And how's it going?
I'm doing great, man. It's just awesome. This has gone full circle, from, the first couple sort of interviews like I ever even agreed to do years ago. They were all with you. The reception was awesome. To, post Jack 4 stuff. You were the one running the live streams forever. So it's only right we're chatting now, and it's only right Bally's was able to grab you to do the commentary for the game Wednesday. I know you're in high demand these days, and you're mostly keeping a low profile yourself. So I'm very appreciative, for all the support, the promotion, and today's chat.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been trying to stay out of this poker madness for a while, but I've been waiting for one thing, and that is, when the hell are we going to see G-Man back in the game? When's he going to speak? The people have been asking me. I got thousands of questions. I get asked about it all the time. When's Garrett going to do this? When's he playing? How's he doing? All this kind of stuff. So I said, hey, let me come out of it. Let me get in this mix. I'm excited to be here. And I know we got some questions we're going to talk about here. Fans got some questions on Twitter. I saw you've kind of posted things over time. And, you've kind of been, it seems like you've been private, living a good life, living a great family life. But at the end of the day, man, what have you been doing? What have you been up to? Where you been?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess if you listen to, the few keyboard warriors out there, I guess have been hiding in an underground bunker or something like that, but no, but the reality is I've just taken kind of a clean break from poker. I think sort of the way everything played out, after that hand, and then, some of the other drama 6 months later, when I did decide to talk to Doug, like none of it I really found to be all that great for my life, So my daughter, she just turned 8 months old, and so a lot of time at home with my wife, but she's back to work now. And, now's kind of the time. I have some extra time now, get back into it. A lot of travel, a lot of being outdoors, hiking. And, specifically, there's one huge project that I've really kind of dedicated most of my professional time to over the past year. Can't really speak on that, for now. But, it's big. It's definitely... it's kind of like my pride and joy, so I'm super excited to announce that, when the time is right. So
cool. Well, that's exciting. Sounds like we got something to look forward to in the future. And kind of mention what you just said there. I covered that whole that scandal. I covered the comments. I've seen hundreds of thousands of comments, I feel like, on my YouTube and on my Twitter page. Some of those toxic comments I've really ever seen in my life on both sides of the argument for the side. And you've been in the middle of that. What's that been like to go from someone who was one of the most celebrated people on the shows everybody looks at you as one of the best players that's playing. You've been winning millions of dollars. And then you go from that to maybe one of the most hated people I've seen on the internet in the poker world, all because you felt like you were cheated in a poker game.
Yeah. It was really tough. I wish I could sit here right now and just be like, oh, I didn't give a shit. It's fine. Like, I know who I am. Like, that didn't bother me. But the reality is like, it hurt a lot, and I struggled immensely. I think, as many people would, et cetera, in a similar situation, not to kind of self-harm myself, if you will, by continuing to read like some of the toxicity and stuff like that. So I think that's been really helpful in terms of, taking time away. I don't really want to get into, anything Jack 4 right now. The only thing I will really say about that is, in the end, like, I just did the best I could. Like, I was just doing like what I thought was right throughout, and I know many people are going to be listening to that and they go, right on. Like, I've been riding with you the whole way. I know some people are going to feel the opposite. Mm-hmm. They might say, hey, I used to like watching you play, but like, I don't agree with the way you handled that. And to them, I just like, want them to know, like, I respect your opinion. It's all good. In life, we have big moments. We have to make tough decisions. And, those are the ones I made. And, for those who kind of don't think I handled that right, like basically no hard feelings, and if you still want to watch me play a little poker, happy to have you watch me play, a couple times next week. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you still got a lot of fans out there too. A lot of people out there always coming up to me. Where's Garrett? We want to see this guy. I'm like, me too. I'm ready. I've been waiting. I talked to him. I'm waiting. I'm seeing what he's going to do. I'm seeing how he's going to make that move. And, so you're going to have good out there. You're going to have bad out there. And it kind of just is what it is. It's like that for a lot of people out there. Anybody that's on a platform, at a stage, if you're performing, sometimes it's going to go well, sometimes it's going to go bad, and sometimes bad things happen where people start to look at you not how you want them to look at you. And, that's the reality of being a content creator in the shows. And that's kind of what you sign up for when you put yourself out there on that platform. And, I kind of just wondering why did it take you for so long, for 14 months? Why not come back earlier? Because you were gone for so long after playing. I mean, you were playing every week for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. I think to the first thing you mentioned here, that's another thing, like, I completely agree with. The reality is like, I put myself like in that spot basically by being in front of people's screens, every week, multiple times a week for years. And so, everyone's entitled to an opinion. People are entitled to sort of feel however they want about that situation. They're entitled to say whatever they want about me. Like, that's kind of the internet, And so because of that, like, basically it's all good. Like, it's my responsibility to kind of handle that well, and I didn't necessarily, it definitely, kind of stung a lot. But, to the question you just asked in terms of, 14 plus months, I've always kind of promised myself that the only time I'm going to play poker is when I'm really excited about it, when it sounds like a lot of fun, and also when I can sort of bring my best to the table. I think sort of my relationship with fans has really shifted quite a lot. In the beginning of live streams, like, I didn't even care. Like, if anything, I was like, this isn't great. I don't want to show my whole cards, And then, like, there was all this positive, like, sort of fan response when I first started playing on Live at the Bike, 6-7 years ago. And I appreciated it for sure, but like, it's kind of like, it was like an aside, I was like, whatever, like, I just need to focus on, playing poker and not worry about, every YouTube video, I'm either the best player of all time or the worst player of all time, depending on if I made the right decision in said hand, But that's definitely shifted, a huge part of why, like, I'm playing poker this week is because of the fans. I can't tell you everywhere, the messages for sure mean the world to me. And that's like most of the feedback I got. But in person, man, it hit even harder and differently, So many people wherever I was, like, would just come up to me and have the nicest things to say. But like, one question was almost, 90% of people, which was like, when are we going to see you play again? And I never really, I think, kind of connected those dots or realized, like, I actually bring like a decent amount of people like real enjoyment, just kind of, doing what I do, playing poker. And so, if I had to pick one reason, like, why I'm playing again, now more than ever, it's that. As for why it took 14 months, I just wasn't feeling it for a long time. Like, I've been super vague in all my public responses about if I'm coming back, when I'm coming back. Because the reality is I had no idea, like, first of all, you see like so many different people retire from poker, and that's just such a stupid, like, like, it's not like, it's like you're in the
nobody
NFL
retires.
Yeah. Retiring. It's just like a ridiculous thing. And not only that, but almost everyone puts their foot in their mouth when they do it, right? Because so many elite players like say they're retiring and they never actually are, And so I knew to be careful not to say anything close to that. But I got to tell you, privately at home with my wife, I can't tell you how many times I go, I'm fucking done with this. Like, I'm so done, and every like new scandal that hit live stream poker since I left, I go, I'm so done. I'm so done, But, nevertheless, here I am, and now I'm sort of, excited and looking forward to this week. And I wish I could also kind of, promise the fans like what the future holds too. But even that, I don't know. I have no idea, how this whirlwind sort of next several days of poker is going to play out, how much I'm going to enjoy it. And So, we'll kind of take that one step at a time.
Yeah, you got 2 days this week, as you said. 2 days. You're going on Bally's on Wednesday, and they got WPT Global Cash Game during their big main event that they got going on. I'm gonna be playing that main event too. I'm excited for that event. I'm excited for that series. So why'd you choose those two?
Yeah. So, and just like to your point, I'll also hop in the tournament Thursday as well. So for everyone playing day 1C, please come say hi. Definitely that's one thing I've missed is the fan engagement. Obviously I haven't been in any poker venues or anything in quite a while. But yeah, I think, it all kind of came together
Crazy.
in a way that just made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, this is like a week that I'm not super busy. My wife and I and our daughter were headed to Jamaica, the following week. So this week worked out in terms of scheduling. And there's just a lot going on, So, I'm sure a lot of people know that, Bally's is also working on sort of rebuilding a studio in Los Angeles. And, definitely I think, the future is bright for me and them being able to work together in LA. And, everyone kind of knows or who follow me, I guess I should say, I'm not a huge fan of traveling, especially at this point. But I don't know for sure when that's going to be ready. And I'm ready to play. It's
itching. You watch you watch Santos lose $1 million on that Alan Keating game, I think it was that during that week, the super high stakes week, and then you said, okay, I gotta play. Like the FOMO's real right now. WSOP's going crazy. WPT they got their big event. Everybody has all these 6 shows, high stakes. People are throwing money around. I know you're sitting there and you're saying, all right, I can't take it anymore. I got to get in this game, Garrett. Please tell it. Come on. We know you've been seeing some of these hands, and you said, oh, my God.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about Twitter, yeah, man, I've never been able to get off X, I guess as it's called now, So when the crazy hands get posted on X, yeah, I watch them, and I'm like, oh, wow, that was a special hand, Otherwise, I've avoided, all the streams, Keating, now you mentioned him, he's like, dude, you got to watch this Game of Gold show. It's something special. And so me and my wife put on the first episode of that. Because she barely knows the rules, and he told me it's like reality TV and so we like that, definitely a really, really cool show concept. But yeah, definitely I think more than 0%, let's put it that way, was seeing some of the crazy action and stuff like that, on Twitter with the hands. I don't like calling it X. It just feels weird to me. I don't know.
I did it today. I've been posted in 5 months. I did it today, and now it's X officially. So, but yeah, so you were excited, So it sounds like you got it a little bit. You see the fans are hitting you up. You see the positive feedback you're getting from them. You're seeing all the action out there, and you know that you got a place in these games if you want to kind of get yourself in the game. And as you mentioned, the relationship that you have with Bally's, and Bally's is Old Live at the Bike, and now they're doing an expansion. They're going to be having a new partnership out in LA. They have this partnership out here in Vegas, and the live stream rise is real, Garrett. And I feel like you've got to be licking your lips saying, oh my God, I mean, everybody's got a big high stakes cash game now, but at the same time, you just went through this experience where you felt like you were cheated. And how do you think about that moving forward and maybe get that out of your mind and not see these monsters under the bed when anytime something might not go your way? And how do you kind of keep your composure when that happens?
Yeah, sure. So a couple things on that. I forgot, I don't think I fully answered your last question, but, Bally's, obviously they have a studio at the Tropicana, WPT, Jamie Kerstetter, who's been amazing to work with in terms of, the game this upcoming Friday. It was like, I was able to kill so many birds with one stone, hop in that main event. Vegas is it's like a 20-minute flight. It's like nothing at all, So all of that kind of came together on a logistical level in terms of, that making sense. But to go back to your most recent question, yeah, I mean, I think that's always part of the gig, when you play streaming poker, maybe people don't sort of fully realize, but I always knew there was a risk of being cheated. I never thought that was a bulletproof situation, and part of the reason I reviewed tape so closely over the years was to look for stuff like that, to look for people that, maybe don't play great, but, seem to make a lot of great river decisions. But yeah, I mean, I don't have monsters under the closet. I'm not worried about basically any one thing sort of being, problematic in that way, I seriously doubt someone's going to be, playing a hand like Jack 4 or something like that. So, that's sort of a non-issue. And yeah, I mean, I'm here to play poker, you know, and I think that that's definitely like my mindset. That's where I, you know, love sort of the direction for my career to kind of go from here. You know, people have an interest in me because of the way I play poker, you know, sometimes great, sometimes spewy, you know, and everywhere in between. And yeah, there'll be a time and a place for sure where I'll be speaking on Jack 4 again. But now's not that time. And while I'm playing on streams, for me, you know, it's not that time. But of course, you know, everyone's going to ask me about it, and it's all good. And, you know, like, as is the right, and, you know, I'll have fun with it. And, you know, like, I think the fact that, yeah, I mean, that I'm entering the arena again, like, you got to have super tough skin. Whether I actually do or not, you got to have some really tough skin, you know? So definitely. I fully expect the verbal needles to come. I fully expect to get shown Jack 4 as a bluff, you know, over and over and over again. And, you know, that's kind of all part of it. You know, poker is like, we're not here to hold hands and like sing Kumbaya, you know, like the shit is cutthroat as it gets, you know, and I know that. And if I wasn't sort of in a place mentally where I could handle that, you know, I would just kind of sail off into the sunset, you know. And I think maybe just one other point on that, you know, like ultimately, like it didn't really matter, sort of like, oh, well, the games, for me, the games have always been good. Like I've always played in great games, like my whole career, you know, and those who follow me know that, you know, I get criticized for that, like, you know, whatever. Like, of course, yeah, I came up on the streets, like online battling the best players in the world heads up. Not many people know that. But when I started playing on live streams, like, yeah, I've always played in good games. I've always known like there's great games like available to me. It's not really about that for me, you know, and I know a lot of people that's super hard to digest when they're like, but you can make 7 figures in EV, maybe a lot more than 7 figures in EV, just like showing up to a stream once or twice a week. Yeah, maybe, but like also like poker's a really, really tough gig, you know, and you and I have talked about that. And there's lots of ups and downs, good and bad, et cetera, about poker. And I think like if your net worth is X and that's a big number and you're like, okay, well, I'll just be happy if I get to 2X. I think you're really, really missing the forest through the trees, you know? And so for me, you know, this is very little about sort of earning some additional income, you know? And if it was, that's why you'd start seeing me, you know, multiple times a week, the way I was playing before Jack 4, you know, that's not going to happen. But I do miss the game, and I do miss the fans, you know, right or wrong. I think sort of the positive feedback I used to get playing poker, you know, my identity, I think will always be tied to that to some extent, which is, you know, a very vulnerable thing, I think, to admit. And that hasn't gone away, you know, like I wish I could say, oh, I don't care at all, you know, but when something is so deeply ingrained in who you are and then you don't have it for over a year, it's hard to just kind of let it go altogether. So it's a combination of a whole bunch of, you know, those things, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I think about you as, you know, I watch you for years playing some of the craziest hands on TV. Like you said, winning some of them and losing some of them. Sometimes you put in 400 big blinds and you look like an idiot. You get called down. You make a light call, but I think that's what most people out there really know you for. And maybe some of the newer fans who came through Jack 4, you know, a lot of poker fans are kind of get into it. A lot of younger fans as well, too. They don't really know you from your heads up days. They don't know you from the Live at the Bike days when there was 500 people watching the show and you were, you know, taking to everybody, right? You were battling anybody. You battled everybody. I think as time goes on, it's going to be, you're going to look back on the memory and say, wow, that was one fucking crazy time of my life. I'm excited what the future holds, man. I'm pumped up. I know people are excited to see you play. I know they're excited to see you down at the lodge as well, too. You know, Doug wants to have you down there, get you down there in Texas. Once you go down there, you're probably not going to want to leave because those guys are crazy as well. So, you know, you mentioned missing poker, and you made this real interesting tweet the other day about you miss taking souls, you miss gambling, miss the strategy. You missed the one time. So tell us a little bit about like what to kind of just describe the emotions about what you missed about playing poker.
Yeah. You know, I think, you know, you don't kind of realize it until it's gone. But I think like I've always really needed to channel myself into doing some really competitive stuff. You know, I just thrive so much sort of in that environment. And I just find so much meaning in like, all right, this person's doing this, like, let's see if I can catch him, you know? And, you know, the other huge project I'm working on, it's pretty hard. I'm really just competing with myself on it. So, I go to the gym every morning, like, unless I just, become a weirdo and look at the guy benching next to me and say, I'm going to get this guy, like I've just struggled, I think missing that competition, and yeah, I like, sit next to my wife in bed, playing online chess, but like none of these things are cutting it for me, and I think also when you play super high stakes poker, like there's a real sickness to it. And I think I've always had it. I was putting the money in there, like spewing like crazy, flipping like, like it was my job, for forever. I think I've always really, really loved to gamble too. It just so happens I won. So it was like less of a problem and people celebrated it instead. But I definitely really miss competing. And, I think maybe if I'm being completely honest with myself, I kind of miss the ups and downs, miss the swings, miss knowing, I'm about to get on a plane tomorrow and I'm going to come home and plenty of the time, like I'm going to be 7 figures, like wealthier or less wealthy, and that's,
wow. Yeah.
That's exciting. That's just really exciting and just not something like I can relate to over the last year, and I know everyone out here watching who plays poker, irrelevant of the stakes you're playing, I know they can sort of connect with that what if, like the last thing poker is like going into a cubicle, like typing on a keyboard for 8 hours and like heading home, knowing you're making the same salary or whatever, every day is different, which is awesome and terrible all at the same time. Because I've had just so many incredible days of my life playing poker and so many just heartbreaking ones as well. So
you're ready for it all. It sounds like you're ready to go through those swings, deal with that emotion. Because like you said, when you lose at poker, there's really nothing like it. When you get it in good, or you make a bad play, or even you play well, you could always make up a reason in your mind how, it's like, it's such a painful thing. And, some people hate it. Some people love it. Some people are sickos. They don't mind experiencing that. Sometimes it takes people broke because they like experiencing that too much and they can't experience the other side of things, which is actually crushing poker and winning and dominating. And, you've been on both sides of those things. And it's going to be interesting to see how you do moving forward. You got Eric Persson, so you're going to be playing against Eric Persson. He seems like he is your rival. I think he was there at Jack 4. He was sitting next to you, and he's definitely had a lot to say during that whole moment. So who are you most excited to play against, Garrett? Right? Is it
yeah,
is it Persson? Like what are you gonna cut? You got a heads up match? What do you got? What are you gonna do? What are you thinking?
It's pretty funny, poker, the high stakes community is like, it's so small, you know what I mean? Like everyone like is in every game, everyone's involved with, everything, yourself included, like you were doing the live streams for that, you're running the commentary for the show, but yeah, I think I'm just looking forward to all of it. There isn't like one person I'm, looking forward to most playing or not looking forward to, obviously, having Patrick Antonius in the game on Wednesday, it's going to be, it's going to be awesome. We've played together before, but just like such a nice guy, such an absolute legend, and I'm sure we're going to play some interesting pots, but I think more than that, I'm just looking forward to like, just someone just putting out a huge bet and like, I don't know what to do, and one of the decisions I'm going to make is either going to make me or save me a ton of money. And I think almost like in a nutshell, that might be what I miss the most, because yeah, like in the online streets and this and that, like, you just play good, right? You just like learn the theory and then execute the theory. But live poker, man, that's a totally different beast. There's so many variables at your disposal that like you can make decisions far better than what GTO or whatever would say, And so, yeah, I take a lot of pride in being able to do a good job making those decisions. But as is always the case with poker, like you're never batting even close to 1,000, So I'm looking forward to all the hands that go right, all the hands that go wrong, and everything in between.
Me too. I'm excited for you, man. Like you said, poker it's a magical game, and especially deep stack poker, which is what your specialty is. You mentioned programs and solvers, and there's a lot of content out there these days, but I feel like what you know how to do, 500 big blinds deep, 1,000 big blinds deep, 1,500 big blinds deep, with in some of the spots you put yourself in, I can understand why you missed that, and very few people are willing to go in that deep end of poker. And that's where you find those big edges. That's where you can find those big winning moments. You can also find some big losing moments when you make some bad decisions, and I can see why you're so passionate about getting back to those moments too. It's pretty exciting.
Totally, yeah. Don't take it easy on me out there on Wednesday, all right? If I totally fuck a hand up, man, you lay into me. You let the world know, like, oh, this guy's rusty, you know, like we talked about at the beginning, like I got whatever's coming to me, you know. We're not here to sing karaoke, you know, like this is a blood sport, you know, and so I'm ready to roll.
Well, let's go. Listen, man, we appreciate you giving us some of your time here as well. And I know we're all excited to see you out there in the battlefield playing this week, winning and losing. You have people rooting against you. You're going to have people rooting for you. At the end of the day, what's going to happen? You know, we're going to find out. So we kind of got a little recap of where you've been up to in the rear view. And the time's over, Garrett. Time is over. Sure. Time for you to get on plane, come out to Vegas, come on my stomping grounds, get in the arena, and we're going to see what you got.
Yeah, appreciate the time and looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
All right, we'll see you soon. Everybody in the chat, shout out to the Legion. Make sure you tune in. Bally, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Garrett, live, back in action. Don't miss it. And that's it. So we got. See you guys later. Take care. Thanks, Garrett.
See you guys.